Guess what, everybody? It is that time of year. It is Christmas in July, and I've got an amazing Christmas collaboration for you guys. I'm Jamie, the crafty DIY guy. Welcome back to my channel. And for my first DIY, we are going to build this really cool kind of Christmas forest candle. We are going to take some of the bottle brush trees. We're going to take some votives. We've got some of the larger candles from Dollar Tree, and I have this great bowl that I picked up from Goodwill that was $1.09. So the first thing you're going to do is kind of set up everything in your kitchen, and you're going to add the candles to some water and boil that until the wax has melted. You obviously want to be very, very careful with this. So 2 of these candles filled up this bowl. Now, as the wax has started to kind of cool down just a little bit, I'm going to add my bottle brush trees, and we are going to do this and just let them sit until that wax has started to harden up just a little bit more, and you can kind of play around with them and position them. I did also take some Epsom salt and I added it to the wax while the wax was still hot, because this is going to help give this the reflection of snow, and it's also going to smell good because this is kind of a lavender scent. Now that the candle has started to set up a little bit more, you're going to take your votives and you're going to sink them just below the wax. Now, depending on how firm your wax is, this is kind of how you'll determine what the best bet is, and then add a little bit more Epsom salt. Once the wax is completely dried, you will see that everything blends together really, really nicely, and you've got a beautiful Christmas forest. I love this. Now, before we go any further, I do want to remind all of you that this is a Christmas in July collaboration. There are so many amazing creators, as you see on screen, that are involved in this collab. Definitely check out the playlist in my description box below. There are some incredible DIYs that you definitely need to check out. Now for my next DIY, it's going to take quite a few of these cinnamon brooms from Dollar Tree. I've had these for a while, and I collect them kind of every time I see them. And we are going to use a wire wreath form. Now the first thing you're going to want to do, of course, is take all of those cinnamon brooms out of the packaging. Definitely a little time consuming. I think I had about 22 of these. I did end up having a few extras. And the idea was going to be to take these and just kind of glue them to the wire form. But once I kind of figured out that wasn't going to work very well, I decided that I would go ahead and take my wire form and start wrapping this in some burlap ribbon that I had. Now, I didn't have a lot of this burlap ribbon, and it wasn't quite enough to go all the way around, but you're going to see that I was able to make this work still. The burlap ribbon really of any kind, but the burlap for sure, it's just going to help kind of adhere those brooms to the wire wreath form. This is totally optional. You could also use a whole different kind of ribbon if you wanted to. This is not a true burlap ribbon. This is kind of that, that like plasticky kind of ribbon, but it does end up working. So now that I've kind of put as much ribbon as I have onto the wreath form, you'll see where I'm talking about how it didn't quite go together, but that's okay, because that is the area that we can put our swag that we're going to be doing for this wreath as well, just to give it some color. So use your glue gun, kind of glue everything in place, get that ready to go, and then you're just going to start gluing. Now, you can play around with this. You could put the ends on either side. I kind of liked the idea of that raffia wrapped, or that grapevine kind of wrapped points kind of going towards the middle. You could play around with this and alternate this if you wanted to. Obviously, it would just depend on the number of these brooms that you have. This smells so good, and I know that cinnamon can also be very sensitive to pets, so obviously you want to keep that in mind. This is actually not going to stay in my house. I'm going to be giving this to a neighbor friend of mine that does not have any pets. And the glue that you're going to be using, this is just an all-purpose Sure Bonder glue, pretty easy peasy. And I am just going to keep layering as many of these brooms as possible on here. And you can slightly overlap them a little bit, play around with the number of brooms that you have. If you think you're going to have enough, if you think you're not going to have enough, then obviously spread that around, spread the love. Now, for this gap, this is where we're going to put some Christmas florals. And these are like the only Christmas florals that I have left, especially right now in July. But I think all of these are going to be really pretty. They're going to be really beautiful against that cinnamon broom and give this a very cool kind of rustic look. Now, for your florals, you're just going to kind of create your spray, whatever kind of spray you want, and then you're going to be wiring that spray to your wreath form. Now, I like to build mine a little more organically versus creating a spray and then adding it to my wreath. So I'm just kind of taking some of the longer pieces, some of the more basic pieces, putting them on the back side, adding some floral wire in this. This is great too, because if I want to update it later on, I can, because nothing is really glued on to here as far as the florals go anyway. And again, you're just kind of building. And then I found these poinsettias, so I decided to take these and add to them. And then you're literally just kind of playing around until you've got a spray that you like. This is it on the wall right now in the guest room. Obviously, this will go somewhere else. Super, super cute. Loved the way that this turned out. Now for this next DIY, I thought this would be a cute stocking hanger. Very, very easy. You can find these in the Dollar Tree right now. And you're just going to keep it simple. Grab some scrapbook paper. I have this set of scrapbook paper that I picked up. I believe I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. I've had this for a while. And you're just going to flip through here and kind of find the scrapbook paper that really speaks to you. Now, a lot of these go really well with that black metal. I loved this one because of the vintage Christmas bulbs, but I also really liked it because it did have black in there, and I'm not planning on changing out the hardware or anything because this is going to be a stocking hanger. I'm going to simply add some glue to the back of this. We're going to use this entire piece of scrapbook paper because I want this pattern to be kind of centered here, and I'm going to use my little roller tool to just kind of make sure that all my air bubbles and everything are out. And after I let this dry for a little while, after kind of rolling it out, we are then going to cut this out, and you're just going to cut this right around the wood. The great thing is that the wood really kind of gives you some good resistance. So easy. Hang a stocking on this, hang a Christmas ornament on this, and you've got a very easy hanger for your stocking if you don't have a fireplace. Now for this next DIY, we're going to use these candle holders. I thought that these were great. They reminded me of some Christmas carols and Christmas stories that you kind of read and you hear about these, or you see these characters kind of carrying these candles down the hallway. And I'm going to incorporate some of these wreath garland ties, and I'm going to take these outside and spray paint them. For the garland ties, I do want to go ahead and kind of trim them up a little bit. They're a little long, they're a little bushy looking for me, and I'm just going to kind of give them a haircut and just kind of streamline these a little bit. Now, I did this on both sides of this and then also with the other one, so we had some nice kind of thinner garland pieces to work with, because the way that we're going to be wrapping them, it just wasn't going to work. Now, this is the new color. I spray painted them a bright Christmas red, which I really love, of course. And then I've got some ribbon, but we are going to take our garland ties and we are going to wrap the handles of our candle holders with this. And as you can see, because there is a wire in this garland, this makes it really, really easy. And all you have to do is just kind of keep feeding it in and out and just continue to wrap as you're going all around the candlestick. Very, very easy, or I guess technically it's the candle hand stick, or yeah, that's the handle of the candlestick. And you're just going to keep wrapping around until you reach the end. And then when you do reach the end, just go ahead and grab a pair of pliers, pair of wire cutters, and you are going to just go ahead and snip that off. Super, super easy. And these cut even with regular scissors, I feel like. I know I've cut these with regular scissors many times in the past. So now that you've got this kind of wrapped around, you could certainly add some other accoutrements to it. Think about those garland beads that Dollar Tree always comes out with. Those would be really, really cute wrapped around there as well, just to give it some extra pop. I'm going to take my ribbon here and I'm just going to tie a very simple bow. And then we're going to take that very simple bow and we are just going to glue it to the top. Now, I know it's a little difficult to see kind of what I'm doing from this angle. However, this is what they look like when they are done. So, so cute. I love this so, so much. It speaks Christmas to me and I'm so happy. Now, if you followed me for a little while, you know that I picked this gorgeous lantern up at Goodwill. And I was super, super excited to work with this, and I knew immediately when I saw it that I needed it for my Christmas decor. Now, this lantern does have glass in it, but I'm going to take the glass out, and we're going to put the glass aside. I'm not totally going to get rid of the glass, but we're not going to be using the glass in this particular DIY. So go ahead and just kind of bend those metal clips, and then we're going to take out the other pieces, and it kind of works the same way. All you have to do is kind of bend the clips a little bit, start taking that glass out, almost like you're doing a picture frame. And it did come out really, really easy. The glass is in great shape, so I'm going to make sure that I put this aside somewhere. That way I can use this again if I want to. Now, I took my lantern out and I spray painted it black. Love the classic kind of matte black finish here. This might be actually semi-gloss now that I think about it. This is one of the Dollar Tree candle rings. I had this left over from my Christmas supplies from last year, and I thought this was just kind of perfect, honestly. I loved the way that this just sat in here. It was a really, really good size. And then I also had these stems that I wanted to incorporate, these pine stems. Now, the pine stems were a little long, so I did cut them down a little bit and then just kind of fed them into the corners. That way, this just looks like it's spilling out. And then this candle came from Temu. This was from one of my earlier Temu hauls. I love how bright this is. I also love how tall this is. And when you add it to the center, how gorgeous is this for Christmas decor? It will be perfect on a front porch, dining room table, a mantle, so many gorgeous, gorgeous options. Now with this next DIY, we're going to incorporate this wood round that I picked up from Pop Shelf. I've had this for a little while. I have this buffalo check or buffalo plaid vinyl from Dollar Tree. I also have this wreath form that I picked up from Hobby Lobby on clearance, and then those reindeer ornaments. Now, I'm not a big fan of using the vinyl in my machine, in my Cricut machine. However, I do love it for this purpose, and we are going to cover this wood round in this buffalo check pattern. So you've got the little staple here at the top from where I took the paper off of it, but use that actually to your advantage because it can help center your plaid pattern on here, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. And then I am going to make sure that that is good and adhered, and then I did just kind of trim off the excess, and then we're going to roll it just to make sure, again, it is super, super sticky. And then I went back through, and now we're just going to kind of trim off of those edges and get those completely gone. I did think about folding them over, but I decided to go ahead and just kind of clean it up. You could certainly take a lighter to this as well and just kind of burn off those edges to tighten it up if you want to, but you're not really going to see it because this is kind of what we're going to be doing. But we are going to take care of our reindeer friend first because we need to bend his antlers. I want the antlers to kind of be spread apart just a little bit so you can see that there are two sets of antlers there. Now we are going to take our wood round, our buffalo plaid wood round, and we are going to glue this to the back of that wreath. Go ahead and add a generous amount of glue, and you'll notice that my wood round is about perfect size for the back of this wreath form, and that's going to adhere very nicely to that kind of wreath form, that raffia? Why can't I say that word? That raffia kind of grape wreath form. And just kind of hold it in place. Hold it until it starts to adhere and set up, and get rid of any kind of glue strings and all that stuff. And you can see it makes a very bright, very cute backdrop. Now we're going to take our reindeer, now that his antlers have kind of spread apart, that heat gun helped kind of heat those up, and then just kind of bend them, hold them into place until it cools down. Go ahead and add some glue. You're going to add some to the hoofs and also to the antlers of the reindeer, and you're just going to nestle him down into the wreath form, and this is what you get. Very, very simple, very, very elegant. I love the way that this turned out. All right, you guys, let me know in the comments below which projects were your favorite. Definitely remember to check out that playlist. That link is in my description box below. Don't you love my Christmas sweater, by the way? This was from Goodwill, and I think I paid about $5 for it. So that is amazing. You guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below which projects were your favorite. And I look forward to bringing you even more content, some fall, some Christmas, some Halloween, and some regular DIYs and hauls and everything else very, very soon. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.